Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Men TV. Steve Hoare here. As you can tell, not in the studio, at home, because obviously the Merseyside derby is later tonight. We'll all be down at the studio or in the stadium if you're Chloe, or at Box Park if you're Paul and Chris for the big game. You have the Red Men team will be spread out all across the city, but wanted to talk to you guys today about the breaking news from the likes of Paul Joyce and David Ornstein, etc., that Liverpool have now opened negotiations with Feyenoord over Arne Slot to become the next Liverpool manager. Interesting note from David Ornstein's reporting, actually, which kind of makes sense on the timeline of all this. So Liverpool waited for this week because they wanted to show discretion and show Feyenoord some respect, as obviously they had the Dutch Cup final at the weekend, which they duly won. Now, they're not going to win the Eredivisie. That ship sailed, basically. The gap is too big. So there's no real, jeopardy in terms of you're not affecting the title race there. You know what I mean? They're not going to win it. It just kind of is what it is at this point in time. Just double checking. Yeah, they are 9 points behind PSV. They're just not going. That just isn't going to happen at this point in time. You would think PSV are going to be the champions. Not so, and also FC Twente, who are third, or 12 points back from Feyenoord. So they're pretty much locked into second place now, which maybe explains the reason why Liverpool have waited until now to make this move. It kind of also explains the timeline on Ruben Amorim and why that was ruled out a couple of days ago. Obviously, once they decided that Slot was their man. First of all, from my point of view, Baldies represent. It looks like we're going to have a Baldy manager in charge of Liverpool. So all you Pep Guardiola and Ten Hag jokes, guys, all you guys that aren't follically challenged, that you've all been using for the last couple of years, you're going to put them to bed now, because we're joining the club as well. Hopefully our board manager is more Guardiola and very much less Ten Hag, because obviously the less, we just don't want that. And in terms of when the timeline first arose, obviously Jurgen's leaving, who do you want? I think everyone wanted Xabi Alonso, and I think Liverpool probably would have wanted Xabi Alonso if that was available. Obviously he decided to stay at Leverkusen. It appears maybe from that point on that Slot became, it looks like, the preferred candidate. According to reports, Liverpool have entered negotiations, this is from David Ornstein, by the way, with the champions and their highly regarded CEO, Dennis, I'm going to say closer. My Dutch isn't brilliant, I'll be honest. They've also been in contact with Slot, and obviously this is important. He is very enthusiastic about the possibility of moving to Liverpool. Paul Joyce says the same thing. The 45-year-old is thought to be keen to replace Jurgen Klopp. They were meant to have a press conference today, Feyenoord. That's now been cancelled, which maybe again goes to show that this is probably advancing a little bit further than we all thought. So why is it Slot then? My guess is obviously, first of all, the style of play, albeit in Holland, and we do have to say that is a thing that you're going to have to take into consideration here. The Dutch league isn't one of the top leagues. When most people do their stats and whatever, and they look at the major leagues in Europe, very, very rarely does the Eredivisie get that type of recognition. Obviously, it just doesn't. So you do take the stats with a pinch of salt. But in terms of the attacking numbers, the defensive numbers, the system, the shape that they use over in Feyenoord, it's obviously very similar to what Jurgen Klopp does at Liverpool. Obviously, not completely the same. No two managers are the same. No two systems and styles are the exact same. But there are familiarities that you can see with, either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, which I think actually probably is one of the reasons Ruben Amorim might have been ruled out, given the fact that Liverpool's squad is built for this type of system. And that's worth mentioning as well, really, in that usually when a manager gets sacked, it's because, when a team is changing managers, it's because they've been doing poorly, and you want a new guy to come in and kind of rip it up and start again. That obviously isn't the case with Liverpool. Jurgen's leaving because of his own personal decision. So you don't need someone to come in and tear it all up and start from scratch. That's not really what's needed. The squad doesn't need that as much as well. It's a very, there's obviously a couple of older players towards the latter end of the career. Obviously Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, although they might have years left, who knows. Maybe Thiago, he's out of contract anyway. Joe Matip out of contract. But then other than that, there's still a lot of young players at Liverpool right across the team. So I don't think whoever comes in is going to need to do a major overhaul. They can just come in and obviously add their own interpretation, work with Michael Edwards and the recruitment team to get those kind of things right. So that probably explains a little bit Slot has become the preferred candidate. And again, the timeline kind of makes sense now, obviously, with the Dutch Cup final that they won at the weekend. In terms of, obviously, his pedigree, he has won the Eredivisie before. And I think, again, the fact that he's won it at a team who maybe, they're probably not expected to win it, or, the budgets and all, I think that maybe plays a part as well. He probably should have another Dutch title, if I'm honest. I think if the COVID season, when the Netherlands had to cancel their season, I think AZ Alkmaar, which would have been a huge win for them, they probably were going to go on and win the title. They'd already played probably the more difficult fixtures, and they were joint top. Obviously, it was goal difference in the end. That saw Ajax win the title that year. So I think that could have also been in his cap. So already, in terms of honours, he's got one league title. He's got the cup that he won at the weekend. He took Feyenoord to the Europa Conference League final, which again, it isn't the biggest competition, of course. No, it's the third-rate European competition. But maybe shows there's a little bit something there in terms of Europe as well. Obviously, recently they've been in and around Europa League, they got knocked out of the Champions League, of course, in the group stage. They finished third. Obviously, Atletico Madrid and Lazio knocked them out, and then unfortunately they got beaten against Roma. That was in the Europa League again. Not horrendous, the fact that he's getting through Champions League group stages with a team. Getting into Europa League. Now, they beat Celtic in that competition, of course, to get into Europa League. So it does feel like he's, I don't know if punching above his weight is the right terminology, but he's done, I think we'd all agree, he's probably done a decent job. The reservations, of course, and I completely agree with them, is that this has been done, again, in the Netherlands, and what's the step up going to be to Liverpool? But to be honest, I think that was always going to be the case with whoever Liverpool got. I couldn't see out there really the candidates who are with a massive 10-year proven track record of absolute success. It was hard to see candidates like that. There was always pros and cons to everybody who was being linked. Even Xabi Alonso, who I would have chosen, to be the next Liverpool manager, he is very inexperienced. He's having a great season. He's already won the title. They're doing really well. There's a chance that he go unbeaten in the season, which is absolutely outrageous. But again, it's only a short sample size, and some people could have questioned that. So I think it's fair for me anyway. And I said this a couple of times, so I apologise for those guys who've watched and listened to other content that I've been on recently. But we trust Michael Edwards, I'm sure. We were all buzzing when Michael Edwards come in, and this new structure, FSG getting the man they wanted, and he's already putting his team together as it goes. And he's the man who's leading this charge, and I think he deserves the chance. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. If he is the genius that we all hope he is and think he is, and then this is the man that his process has delivered, then fair enough, we have to go for it. So yeah, the breaking news, just to clarify once again, I'm scrolling through social media as you do, to get it right. Liverpool are very confident, according to Chris Bascom, that they've got their man now. It does look like this one is. This one's moving. It looks like Arne Slot is going to be the next Liverpool manager. So I would love to know your thoughts. Obviously, guys who are watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on all this. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Is there somebody else that you would have liked? If you're listening to this as a podcast as well, please do the same. Get in touch. We've got social media, or X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at the Redmen TV. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Let us know your comments. We'd love to hear them all, because obviously, it looks like our newest manager is going to be a bald fella, which is, again, absolutely fantastic for me. So I'm sure this story will continue to develop, and we'll have it updated every step of the way here on Redmen TV, all across all of our different channels as well. If you want more on Arne Slot, do go and check out the deep dive that Josh Williams and Dan Clubb put out yesterday, where they looked a little bit more into him and the tactics and the setup and some of the stats behind and the numbers. And that's available right now, again, YouTube and podcast. So do go and check that out. And obviously, it's the derby tonight. We'll be live. Got the watch along. Come and watch us on that as well. Keep an eye out for videos from Chloe down to stadium. You've got Paul and Chris in Box Park as well in Liverpool. So if you're looking for somewhere in the city to watch the games tonight, get yourself down to Box Park for a boss night with the Redmen TV and Keo playing some belter Liverpool tunes as well. But what a day. Potentially historic day in Liverpool's history, where it looks like the next manager of the football club has been identified, and the process is ongoing to get him. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you all later.